What is up, everyone? In today's video, I'm gonna guarantee that you will level up so hard as a jungler with the concepts and fundamentals that I am going to be sharing with you today. Now, just fair warning, this video is going to be in-depth, but if you truly want to see results, I would highly encourage you to watch it in its entirety and see what is, the most applicable things for you. If you're not sure who I am, my name is Coach Leo. I am a former professional jungler who competed at Worlds multiple times, as well as hitting Challenger every single season. For the past 2 years, I have been full-time coaching players ranging from unranked to Challenger to their ranked goals. Now, I don't mean to brag or anything, but let's just say I have a pretty high coaching win rate. So if working with me is something that you are interested in, you can check the links in the description below. Without further ado, let's get into dropping some absolute knowledge bombs for you to improve at playing jungle. Alrighty guys, loading into the game now. As you can see, we are playing a game of Echo. So, the focus of this video is also going to be very, very much so about kind of carry jungle identities, what we want to be thinking about them. This is on my main account, which is around 750 LP Grandmaster right now. And the way that I'm wanting to review this game, so, I see the game kind of in rounds, right? I do a clear, I base, that's round 1 complete. And so how I want you to also view your own game is in rounds. League of Legends is very much so, kind of round based. And so in each round, you will see here that you are going to basically learn something new. Obviously, some things repeat. Yeah, I would highly encourage you also to review your games in rounds. And I'll be speaking kind of at the end of the video as well about how, you can review your own games as well. So as we see here, the game plan, the game has already begun. This is where we already need to start thinking about the game, okay? It's so important that when you're in load screen, you're not on TikTok or something like that, right? You need to be starting to think about a game plan. And that's the first step to League of Legends and to good jungling. Game plan. Okay, so as you can see here, we have these 3 kind of categories that you're going to ask yourself. You're going to ask yourself which lanes are volatile. Now, this is the question that I always, tell people. Where can I get a kill? It's as simple as that, okay? A lot of people ask me, is pathing to bot this season better? Is pathing to top this season better? Now, to be honest with you, if you have no idea, yeah, path to bot, because bot lane has 4 people, right? It has more, potential, I guess you could say. However, what I want you to guys start thinking about is, which lanes are volatile, and volatility for me comes down to 3 kind of different categories, but these are some things that I'm looking for personally. I'm looking for summoner spells. I'm looking for how easily people can escape. So if I'm versing like a Ghost Flash Darius in the enemy top lane, I'm not thinking that he's very easy to kill, right? And maybe he has phase rush as well. So runes, summoner spells, the champions, kits and identity, right? If I have a Kayle top, I don't really want to play towards that lane because that lane doesn't offer me anything. And again, it's all about getting yourself ahead. Okay, so we want to think about where we can get a kill. We want to think about where the action is. Of course, this is going to be very, very knowledge-based as well. That's just the first thing you want to ask yourself, because you want to kind of think about which lanes are going to be your weak side lanes and which lanes or lane is going to be your strong side lane that we're going to invest our time into. Now, the second thing you should always ask yourself when you load into a game, which is, can the enemy invade? And kind of how should I use my trinket? Should I use my trinket offensively or defensively? And then based on these 2 things is which path am I going to take? Okay? Like, am I going to start Raptors? Am I going to start Red? Am I going to start Wolves? What am I going to do this game based on those 2 questions? So let's go through that real quick. So top lane is Conqueror, Exhaust, Heimerdinger versus Malphite. Okay? So, already that's an interesting lane, right? So some occasions you can actually kill or early kill a lane like this, but obviously it's not amazing on our 2nd, 3rd, and 4th clear to be pathing towards a Malphite who has an ult that he can escape to easily. He's also a tank, so once he builds MR. So when you verse like tank lanes like this, you can kill them once early, but generally after that, depends on the game, you want to kind of leave them alone. In the mid lane, we have Lee Sin versus Yone. Yone is a highly mobile champion. You will see this game that I make a few mistakes around playing around Yone and how mobile this champion is. But that's not clearly, obviously it's 2 melee champs. It's 2 champions with combat kind of runes. Non-combat summoners though, so that's something to keep in mind. If they had double ignite here, that would be a lot more volatile. And then in the bot lane here, you have Lucian versus Ezreal and Nami versus Melee. And this is a bot lane that I would actually consider to be kind of non-volatile. If you think about enchanters, right? If you have like Brand versus Xerath in the support lane, that is going to be highly volatile because both of those supports are going to be hitting each other, and it's just gonna, they're gonna get, it's gonna be volatile because they're gonna be low HP. But when you have 2 enchanters like Nami and Melio, it's not exactly Screaming Volatility because they have low damage, but high sustain. So, and usually when you look at bot lane, you do generally want to look at the support in terms of volatility. Like if it was Pyke versus Nautilus, you already know there's going to be a party in the bot lane because of that. Okay, so yeah, there are different categories of supports in particular that I'm not going to go into too much in depth in this video. But in this case, right, I'm thinking that Fizz, potential to invade, and, you know, I chose the option for my game plan to do a Raptor start. Now, this is kind of Echo specific as well because you want to get a Blasting Wand and a Dark Seal on your buy. But in games where you think, there's not really anything screaming volatility to me and your champion likes starting Raptors, Raptors is a great idea because, you know, we're going to be talking about regular time, spare time, camps up, camps down, this kind of thing in this video. But the thing is, when you do a general clear, right, if you start red into Krugs, into Raptors, Wolves, Gromp, Blue, Scuttle, usually here you have like some free time until your first camp that you killed spawns again. But when you start Raptors, it's basically like you're saying, I don't think that spare time is going to, you know, be used anywhere. So I'm going to use it on myself to get an extra 2 camps in the first clear. So, you know, it sounds like a pretty good deal, right? But, you know, some games, like if I was versing, if bot lane matchup was like I said, Brand versus Xerath support or something, Pyke versus Nautilus, I might actually just start red this game just so every single round I can just part the bot. All right, and also something else that happens when you start Raptors is sometimes you flip the pathing. But in this game, yeah, I do 3 camp. So I do 3 camp base path. I made a video on this path previously, but also just take in mind how I use my trinket as well, right? This is, again, part of the fundamentals. You know, how do I want to use my trinket? Should I use it, you know, offensively, which could mean warding the enemy Raptors here? Or should I just use it defensively? Because, you know, it's always good to try and use your trinket level 1, however you can. Warding for yourself, maybe I'm versing a Kayn here and he can evade my Raptors, or, you know, maybe the Graves can E over this wall. So just use your trinket however you think. It's good, right? And you'll learn from different scenarios and different things. Okay, so I'm just going to fast forward here. You know, we're clearing. It's also really important that you know how to clear. Okay, this is not something I've, you know, said here in this thing, but it is really, really important that you know how to clear your camps. You need to be able to clear your camps fast. You need to get into a practice tool, figure out how this thing's, because those seconds here on the bot side, they add up. So yeah, we just do a really standard clear. I'm going to skip past the clear. We need to know how to clear though, okay? So this is the first kind of point here. Okay, the very first point in the game, which is awareness and minimap prompts. So at 3:01 in-game timer, you'll see here in a second, you'll see something. And there's multiple things to think about once you've finished your last camp. So this is now kind of my spare time. You know, obviously there's still a Scuttle Crab to kill. So you want to be thinking about multiple things here. Enemy jungle, where's he at? You want to think about, okay, what do I want to do with my spare time? Which heavily involves you looking at the minimap here, okay? So when you see icons start clashing like this, you really need to be thinking, okay, let's pay attention to that. So that is the very, very first thing here. The minimap prompt at 3:01 here, right? When the enemy, when these guys are trading and mid is trading, that is a prompt for me to then move my camera to this lane. So you're looking at the minimap. So you don't need to be F-keying like crazy. You just need to be paying attention to the minimap because the minimap will give you prompts for you to move your camera here, investigate the situation further. Now I see them fighting. So we immediately just take the Scuttle. Still efficiently take the Scuttle, right? I mean, if you didn't have time for the Scuttle, don't take the Scuttle. And so we go for the bot gang. Okay, so the main reason why this has even happened is just because I'm paying attention to the minimap. Minimap awareness, simple stuff, right, guys? But you'll be surprised with how effective. Yeah, and the fundamentals are not supposed to be some crazy profound concept. They are supposed to just be, you know, fundamentals of the game. One last thing here, if I just rewind real quick, is that just take a look at the pathing I'm taking here, okay? Things to do with gank execution is cutting the enemy off, okay? You want to cut the, so when you come in for this gank, a very common mistake I see is people running like kind of in a straight line and not running. You see where my mouse is here? This is a very, very important ganking fundamental. You must cut people off. You must not think, oh, I need to save my Lucian, because look here. I didn't even think about saving my Lucian. Look, I'm still cutting off here. Now, the only time that I am turning here is when the enemy also turns. Okay, just very, very, again, very basic, but important. Okay, so we pick up 2 kills here, just purely based on good awareness, good ganking, execution, fundamentals. So, one more thing here to review in this game. When should we push waves? When should we leave waves? So, obviously understanding how or what to do with waves is a very important thing as a jungler. The main thing you want to be thinking about is, can I push this wave before the next wave comes in and blocks it, right? So the main thing you want to think about is also who has more minions. If I had way more minions here, that would mean I should push. If, again, I can push the wave in before the enemy. So sometimes even if we have a bigger wave, you won't be able to push this cannon wave. And obviously right now, this is really, really a good situation for my AD carry, because if I leave this wave, what's going to happen is that because this minion wave is bigger, it's going to actually kill my minion wave, which is denying the enemy Ezreal. And it's also having a nice little landing spot for that minion wave for my AD carry. So it's really, really important not to mess up waves. It's important that, we get the most amount of gold that we possibly can in the game. Next fundamental, all right? Always check the minimap after a play. Think about the enemy jungler's plays. Use your team as a resource. So as soon as this play is over, right, I'll tell you the exact moment. As soon as I kill the Nami here, my eyes or your eyes should immediately look at the minimap. And like I said before, process of elimination. If the enemy jungle has not been a part of this play, if he's not on the bot crab, he's not trying to counter gank us here, he's not trying to gank a bot lane, he hasn't shown anywhere. So immediately what you need to do is you need to download the enemy jungler's path and look at the minimap. Okay, as soon as you look at the minimap, what can the enemy jungle do? He's obviously done the scuttle. So now he's going to be looking at my raptors. So this is the trade-off as well to doing the raptor start. Usually when you do the raptor start, you have to always be back on it. But the main fundamental to think about here, if you find yourself struggling to, do the next move after you make a move, this is why. Because you need to look at the minimap the moment, because it's hard to look at the minimap while you're fighting, right? For anyone. The moment it's over, look at the minimap. Think about what you want to do next. We immediately base here, right? It's not like we're running over here. And last thing, look at my pings, right? I'm pinging on Lee Sin. I know that Echo is probably, or the enemy jungle Fizz is probably here, right? And, we're using our team as a resource. We're saying, hey, Lee Sin, give me some information here about what Fizz is doing. Okay, so this is round 1 over. Now we begin round 2. Okay, so in the second round, the goal for me is, because I have already spent time bot side, I've blown bot lane summoners, or I've killed the enemy bot lane, my Lucian is now ahead, my bot side is now the strong side, okay? So that's the main thing to realize here, and because I'm able to fix my pathing here, you'll see that in a second. Now this is my weak side camps, and these are my strong side camps. Weak side, strong side fundamentals. Okay, this is something that I preach quite a lot in the WTL and the Jungle Academy. It is really, really foundational stuff that you need to know before you start adapting. Okay, so cool. I don't do raptors here, even though I did it in round 1. I did raptors first. I want to make sure that my camps are spawning 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to fix it when I can, right? So that's what we're doing here. We also here we see the Fizz, right? So I already talked about downloading his path before, but at 351, right, when we see him here, we need to ask ourselves, okay, what did he do? A really, really great way to confirm, obviously, what he did is if he has a blue buff around him, he did his blue buff second. That means he had to have pathed up. If he has red buff here, he may have full cleared down and then recalled and then gone top. So you also have to double check. Okay, double check. Just because he showed it doesn't 100% mean that he pathed up. It's just a pretty good chance. But double check. See what buff he has. He has blue. He took blue second. He must have pathed up. Okay, so let's continue. So yeah, we're getting back to the strong side ASAP. As we clear our camps, okay, check the states of lanes, especially the ones that we are in proximity to. So at 444, so this is again, you just want to have like a consistent update of what the map is doing. What's happening mid here? As I path between camps, once again, I'm not teaching or, saying that you need to be binding your F keys and F key. Like, you don't want to do it like that, okay? An easy way to do it is just between camps, because you don't want your awareness to affect your clear speed. This is something that I see commonly while coaching. People are trying to be too aware. They're not actually digesting the information, and they're just affecting their clear speed negatively. So what you really want a great way is just between camps. I call this the kind of click and pan, okay? I made up my own concept for this. This is to do with fighting as well. But just click to your next camp, and then become a spectator. Start spectating some stuff. What's happening here? What's happening bot? You know, what am I going to... You start that plan around what am I going to do next? Again, here, you'll see it. After the Raptors, we kill the Raptors. We haven't panned yet, right? I'm not messing up my clear speed. But as soon as we click and pan here, we click again. What's happening mid? Oh, he has a freeze. Okay, that's good information to know. What's happening bot? Okay, etc. Right? I didn't look to bot for too long there. Just a quick look. Just quick look. What's happening? Back to the camp. Okay. So awareness between camps. Okay. Between camps, check lane states, especially the ones you're in proximity to. Okay, that's kind of an important one. Sometimes I see players, you know, on Gromp, and something's happening here, but sometimes we're like F-keying here. Again, your F keys or your camera pans, they need to be intentional based on minimap prompts, based on proximity, based on where you're pathing to, based on who have I burnt sums, yo, no flash, maybe enemy bot lane has no flash here. The information that we gather needs to come from some kind of, you know, it's coming from somewhere. It's not just random. Of course, random updates are good. They're not terrible, but you don't want to like overwhelm your mental stack either. Okay, so take a look at these pings here. All right. So it's really, really important that you have this internal enemy jungle tracker. Okay. And what this internal enemy jungle tracker is going to do is it's going to allow you to come up with new plays. Okay. It's going to come up with, oh, he's on the top side here. Does that mean I have a chance to do Drake? Does that mean I have a chance to dive bot? Is my Heimerdinger pushing right now? I can ping him off. So tracking the enemy jungle, knowing what his move is, knowing what his potential move is consistently, is going to help your decision-making process a really, really big amount, okay? Because, you know, the more League and jungling is all about information at the end of the day. Information, planning, execution. So here we know that he stops in, and just take a look at how I ping. Okay, it's not just question mark pings here, okay? What I really, really want you guys to know, even though I didn't really do it here, which I should have, okay? I should have done it here, is I call it the 3 ping. Ping where the enemy jungle is, ping who's in danger, and then ping the enemy jungle in the chat. This is the most effective way I've found to communicate to your team. And I know what you're already going to say. My team's going to die anyway. Even if your team dies 5 out of 10 of the games, the other 5 out of 10, you actually do save them. And I think it is cope to say that my team dies anyway. It's probably because you were ineffectively pinging, or you're just, you know, biased towards, okay, this time they died, and you're not realizing the times that they actually lived because of it. Okay. So yeah, it's very important that you track the enemy jungle. But look at this. He shows up. So of course, even though our tracking is saying that he should be topside, he actually ended up doing 1, 2. And I don't know what he did. He just cleared really slow. I'm not sure. And now he's ganking bot. Pretty unusual. And again, all of the things that we're talking about, all the fundamentals, are just, they're just like basically a guide, right? It's basically like the game is running on a default, and then some information will happen, and you have to react to that in whatever way you can, okay? So yeah, Fizz ends up showing up bot here, right? And the main important thing here, right, just as I rewind a little bit, okay, a lot of junglers here, this little move that I make here behind this wall, okay? A lot of times I see junglers just run straight in here and show themselves here, and the enemy team backs off. But you should be in the mindset that you want this fight, especially for a champion like Echo. But no matter what you play here, you could be playing Jarvan, Nocturne, Evelynn, Xin Zhao. Every single jungler wants, in this situation, the enemy to come in here, and you can bait your team. If the fight looks good. Obviously, if the fight is terrible, you can just, you know, throw a Q and help them get out. No problem with that. And even though this play fails, and I don't end up landing my stun on anyone, I could have even been even more patient. The idea is that you want to kill, not save, okay? The idea is that you want to play for kills, and you can bait your teammates if that's the case, if you think it looks good. Now, the next thing to look at this in this play is that we want to use our spare time, and once again, looking at the bot wave situation, and when we should actually leave and recall. So the top scuttle, I think, is unknown right now when second scuttle is spawning, but it should be the second scuttle, the one before the, you know, the first scuttle spawns. It should be spawning. However, look at my topside camps here. Okay. So yeah, I could recall here and potentially look at the top scuttle or like a Malphite play, right? And waiting for my weak side camps to spawn again. But something that's really, really important that I went over in the Canyon VOD review, if you want to check that out, is how well Canyon uses his spare time. Now, spare time can be used for multiple different things because I have nothing else to do right now. And I don't even base, you know, my buy isn't even anything good. You want to be thinking about doing spare tempo jobs, warding dragon, warding tribush, recalling behind your bot lane, maybe even just hanging around bot side for longer instead of like recalling and waiting for your red buff to spawn. So just take a look at what happens in this round now, right? Take a look at the bot wave. The bot wave is pushing towards the enemy because my Lucian is pushing, right? So me just completely leaving here now would not be a great idea. Like, I want to hang around. I want to maybe even just go for round 2, even though it seems stupid here. People are stupid. Enemy team is stupid. Your bot lane's low. Their wave is pushing. They're going to hang around. And just because I kind of hang around here and I don't immediately reset, because sometimes people overvalue tempo. Sometimes people are like, oh, the coach told me I got to base and I got to have good tempo. But basing here is actually not, you know, you potentially missing out on the enemy team inting. And, you know, if my Lucian died here and you know, nothing happened, then nothing happens. Then, yeah, sure, you recall, you look for the top scuttle. But because I hung around here, I was able to, once again, use this same wall to bait the enemies in. So, again, take a look at the way I'm pathing. I'm not pathing like this and showing here. I'm right now in using Fog of War. So, really bait people in. Again, I bait them in. I don't play to save my team. We play just to kill whoever. He ends up having barrier. We kill, we flash out, and now we reset. Okay, so round 2 over. Now let's take a look at round 3. So round 3 begins. What are we looking at in this round? So there is going to be potential opportunity on weak side, and you need to understand some lane matchups. So this is all to do with, you know, as you can see again, as I'm running out of base, we're not actually looking at bot lane, okay? We're looking at mid and top because these are the lanes that I'm going to be in proximity to. Once again, looking at your proximity lanes because I am going to be on top side here. And as I'm looking at these lanes, I'm looking at opportunities to potentially do something before my red buff spawns. And as I said before, the scuttle was up that time. So yeah, we look at the scuttle first. We're not waiting around for red buff, right? We're looking to maximize the time usage. And just take a look at these, you know, camera pan stop, okay? Sometimes even on the weak side, there will be opportunities, okay? And whether or not you judge this correctly or incorrectly, yes, ideally you want to clear your weak side camps as soon as you can and get to the strong side. You want to play in this circle. You don't really want to play in this circle because, again, we've invested time into here. We've blown the Ezreal's barrier. Again, we're winning on bot side. We can win fights on bot side. But, you know, there will be an opportunity on weak side when, you know, enemy jungle's pushing or maybe there's a dive opportunity. So be mindful to look for those opportunities on the weak side. And yeah, the lane matchup here is, you know, just to explain, you know, Heimer or poke champs or range champs, they want to push and they're going to poke. So if this lane is kind of left in isolation, Heimer will just win. And Malphite's win condition kind of is to all in because he has really good gank setup. However, of course, Heimer is like a great weak side champion. You know, he's really, really good at soaking ganks like Alawi. These kind of champions are really, really good at soaking ganks. But yeah, there will become a timer where, you know, I can just, because I have level 6 now, you know, I have my elixir, I'm feeling quite strong. And even though on this occasion, we don't actually dive him right here, right now, because he starts healing, right? So this was like a slight misjudgment. He has ult. I don't want to E in and not have enough damage and not be able to kill him. I'm still not sure exactly if we could or could not have done this. I think looking at it now, I think it still was possible if I have a good placement of W and he gets stunned and he just gets one shot. But I'm not feeling like it's 100% yet. So I just don't show. And I take the Gromp. I am expecting Fizz to be pathing up, but I find this a little bit strange that he's not here yet. So again, I'm on this side of the map. So I'm always just thinking, well, what is Fizz doing then? If he's not here, if he's not taking his Gromp, if he's not on his top side camps, yeah, he could just be farming his bot side. But that still means that he has a play on bot side. So you see the kind of pings I'm using here. One more time. Ping here. 1, 2, 3. That's called the 3 ping. 1, 2, 3. Utilize this effectively. Effective pings. Last thing here that we're doing is that we're letting something marinate. As I said before, if I just leave this Heimer and Malphite alone, what will happen is the Heimer will just keep poking and keep poking and keep poking until the Malphite gets low enough where we can dive. Also now Fizz has shown up, so we go for the dive. So again, League is not black or white. League is not always just going to be clear your weak side into the strong side. You should still be aware of the weak side and what plays can come from it. And reacting to things like, you know, maybe Fizz shows on bot side and you go and take his blue and his Gromp, etc. Okay? So this round is a little more adaptation. This is a little bit more not the standard fundamental thing, which is just full clear to bot. Okay? So this is the next point, which is cross ganks. And this is where I mess up in terms of lack of knowledge. So if I were to review this game, right, as we get to this point, cross ganks are pretty good. Okay? So, you know, a lot on this channel I talk about, you know, how you should never do a gank unless it's a kill when you have camps up. But, you know, cross ganks are kind of, you know, it's not too inefficient. You know, you can cross gank this guy and take your wolves, right? It's a cross gank. Cross gank's mid, a little bit different than if I were to go top here and not kill Malphite. I wouldn't be, you know, I'd have to recall back to my camps. It would be a little bit more inefficient. So cross gank's good. Awareness is good here. But the one thing that I, you know, obviously misjudged as I just play this clip at 1.5 speed is how annoying Yone is. And so what I would encourage you guys is that, you know, for myself, even reviewing this, it is okay to think you can kill someone and you don't kill them. What is the most important thing is that you review and you come to the conclusion of, and you build your knowledge. Oh man, this champ's annoying. Akali's annoying. She can just eat all. Or this guy's annoying. Or Alawi is like a 1v2 machine chunk-hand champ. As long as you are not doing this play because your Lee Sin is pinging you, because the game is losing, as long as it's coming from a place of objective, I think I can kill him, then it's fine. Then you just learn and you move on, okay? So that is the big review point here. And you know, in the end, it still doesn't actually work out because, you know, again, Yone's just hard. Oh no, well, does it work out? No, it doesn't. Yeah. So big waste of time. And you know, if I was reviewing this VOD in you know, a session or something like that, I would just say here, yeah, okay, like we should have been on our bot side camps. Obviously, our bot side camps here would, you know, be a bigger, you know, influence in winning this game, just clearing up bot side camps. And maybe, you know, maybe in a different scenario, I would say Butterfly Effect here, you could be taking Drake as Fizz ganked mid and then went to his top side, you know, is a Butterfly Effect. So it is okay as well to make mistakes. Just review them in the right manner. Don't create false conclusions either. That's another thing when you look at mistakes like this. Don't think, oh, you know, I need to gank more because the Fizz killed my mid laner, right? If Fizz kills your mid there and you went for the camps instead, don't draw false conclusions. That's going to affect you in future games. Don't you know, change how you play. Just simple stuff. This guy's pretty hard to kill. Maybe I mis-executed. Maybe etc. 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 And again here, as long as this play was not for the fact of, oh, my Heim is pinging me, or my Heim is 0-3 and he's going to rage quit the game, or whatever it is, whatever you're thinking that's not objective. It's, you know, it's based on your emotions. Any play you do is okay. I thought I could kill here. I misplay. The Fizz uses his E, and, you know, we die here. So this whole round, honestly, if I was reviewing this game, would be a big round that I would review. This would be a cause for review, and this is how I want you to think about it. Okay, third round in this game. So regardless of if I won or lost this game, okay, this is also another important talking point. Every single game is an opportunity, whether you're winning the game, whether you have good teammates, whether you have bad teammates. No matter what, don't look at the outcome. Don't look at the wins. I don't want to see you guys comment down below about, oh, you know, your team is good this game, that's why you won. It has nothing to do with that. Improvement in League of Legends has everything to do with learning from scenarios and not being outcome based. Oh, we won this game, we lost this game, etc. Okay? As you guys know, League of Legends and winning is, you know, it's not it's not a it's a math game. 15 games you're going to win auto, 15 games you're going to lose auto. 70% is up to how much you take and review from these games and improve even just 1% every single game. Okay, so fourth round has begun here. So the third round kind of bleeds in this next round. Again, I'm just basically flipping and hoping a play works at 10:30. So here, I just see Nami bot side. The enemy mid has full prio. And this is another really, really important talking point for when you review your own games. Just because the play that you're about to watch works does not mean the decision for me after blue to do this play is a good play. Obviously, there is always some risk to everything, right? Obviously, there's always some risk to things. But the thing is, I did this play purely based on, oh, I just see Nami and I think I can kill her. But imagine I went into this play here and the Fizz is not on Drake and Nami just runs away right now. Can I kill this Nami here? No, I'm wasting time. I should be taking the mid wave and then just moving on to my top side camps and playing for the next objective. Yeah, so when you review these games, right? Look at this. Echo's doing so great. He's getting Drake and he's killing Fizz. However, it's actually not a good play. It actually wasn't a good play. They had mid prior. Like, I had no information. And so be very self-critical even when you do a good play like this. Or not a good play, sorry. The result is good. Again, the result is not what we're worried about. It's the process that we really want to think about. What made me come to this conclusion to make this play? And like I said, fundamentals are going to be something that you work on for the entire time you play this game. how you use your time is something you're going to work on for the entire time where you play this game. And so it's very, very important that you think about every single decision that you make objectively. There is room for creativity. For example, things like this. You know, once I am on the bot side and I am really, really strong and the Ezreal is half HP, you know, I can play here because of this big wave. Even if the enemy team just back off here, I can just recall behind them, recall to my topside camps. So this play I would say is a lot less of a flip. And this is where I would say some, you know, Nexus denting plays, enemy Nexus is what I'm saying, can be made here. Because, you know, a play like this where Ezreal misses this entire wave is really, really impactful. All right, just for the game, the enemy carry or, you know, damage dealer is losing a bunch of gold and XP, which is a really, really big play. And so now we end up recalling. You know, I also don't ping my weak side here early enough, right? I was a little bit late. So the play is over. Same fundamental again. I was like, oh, okay, I missed it. Damn, right? And it will happen. It's okay, right? Could I have saved him here? I don't know. Probably could have still died. Doesn't really matter. It's about the fundamental. It's about the thought process, okay? So next round begins. And we are now on the 5th round. So awareness, we're not doing anything. Okay, so when you're running out of bases, so this is actually, you know, we get back on fundamentals here. We get back on, you know, not just doing random stuff. So when you are running out of base here, what I like to call this next play that you're about to see is what I like, it's called an int check. You're checking if the enemy will int. So as you're running out of base here, don't just have your camera locked on, because again, we're trying to gather information on the proximity lane. So every time I run out of lane, you'll see out of base, you'll see the same thing. I'm looking at lanes so I can make decisions based on, you know, after I do Krugs or after I do Raptors easier. So as soon as I see the Malphite here on my screen, I'm like, whoa, hold up a second. I saw that this guy was low just before. And so instead of autopiloting and just saying, oh, my Heimer died, I will see this a lot, by the way, in coaching. My Heimer died. I'm just going to clear my topside camps and I'm just going to full clear. But sometimes what you can do, even when you're not part of a play, or even when your Heimer or your top lane or whoever it is that died to the gank, sometimes, well, guess what? The enemy team is just as bad or, you know, just as inting as your team. So it is incredibly important that you make note of this Malphite's body language here. What is he doing? Is he walking forward for no reason? Or does this guy want to slap the tower? Does he want a little bit of a plate here? And so when you see that, immediately you're thinking, is he going to int? Int check. This is what I like to call an int check. Oh, he inted. All right, time to go for him. All right. So as soon as I see that int, this was actually pretty close to him surviving, which I actually have to change my angle here. It actually was very close here to him recalling. But boom, look at that. Dark Seal stack, 300 gold. Huge. Absolutely huge. We leave the wave in this occasion. So even though this wave is pushing towards the enemy, this wave is pushing towards the enemy. So by some people's logic, right, you should push this wave in. However, Heimer's still going to get some of this wave, and I have things to do. I have many things to do here. So I don't want to waste my time pushing this wave, unless my wave is absolutely huge and there's only 3 minions here. Then crashing the wave for Heimer is kind of good. Okay, so yeah, just leave that wave. He will get there. It'll push slower. He will get more of the minions, and he won't miss or be in such a bad situation. So the next play starts. Let me just go back real quick. So my plan here was to do grubs, which I actually think is, once again, a little bit of wishful thinking on my end. I actually should, I should be thinking, start the grubs here and then react to the enemy team inting. But in this case, I actually just run straight to the fight. And just one small thing I will say again is the click and pan. So the click and pan, okay? This is something you're going to have to start thinking about. Click to the fight, pan your camera. Does it look good? Okay, go to the fight. Does it look bad or like nothing? Okay, turn around. So even if you walk here for a few seconds trying to analyze what you're seeing, it's okay, because then you can just turn around. Oh, never mind, doesn't look good. I'll take grubs, or never mind, I'll take raptors. So click and pan, a huge fundamental. This is my own concept, but it is very, very important that I realized not a lot of players, we're missing information. So again, here, I'm just letting my character walk in. I'm letting my character walk in. Then a fight begins and we're here. Again, this was a little bit of hopeful, it was a bit of a hopeful play. It was a little bit of a, are they going to really do this fight? Could I have just done grubs instead? For sure. I'm actually not even going to deny that. I should have started the grubs again and then just been spectating and watching. And then if something happens, we go there. So once you win a fight, okay? Once you win a fight, every single time, ask yourself, what can I take? So immediately here, you see me not go back to my camps. Why is this? Okay. Even though the Fizz is still alive here, every time you want to fight, you want to think, what can I take? So he went to his bot side camps here, the Fizz, right? And I know he also came from bot side. If we just rewind real quick, where did the Fizz come from? Actually, no, yeah. The Fizz actually just appeared mid. Never mind. But every single time you want to think, what can I take? So obviously, even if he didn't have his top side camps up here, so he actually did come from top side. It's especially important at this point, guys. If the enemy jungle dies, what can I take? I can't stress this one enough. What can I take? What can I take? Where did he come from? Which camps can I take? So you see my intention was good here, but he actually did come from top side, which I missed. His blue starts spawning in 8 seconds. We take the grubs. Okay, so what can I take? That's a huge one to think about when you win a fight. And the next thing to think about is base timers. 2 occasions. Okay, 2 occasions I make mistakes on base timers. So we're now entering the point in the video where we're thinking about team play. We're thinking about syncing up bases. We're thinking about uptime, downtime. My favorite mid-game concept. Uptime, downtime, when we should be farming, when we should be playing with a team, when we can make the most of our team's pressure. This is basically mid-game figured out. And I will show you guys my mistakes in this game. And so, you know, we can all improve together. So right here, right? Base timers. So after I do the topside camp, so I'm not going to base yet, right? Because I don't actually have anything to buy. You know, actually, no, I do. I'm building Shadow Flame, so I could have based there. But in this occasion, I'm staying on the map because my team is staying on the map. So basically, I'm looking for a good opportunity, or I should be looking for a good opportunity to press base. And one of them is coming up in a second at this timer right here. Okay, at 13:45. Take a look what happens. See if you guys can spot it. Instead of going for this whack mid play that I'm going for, take a look. If you guys can spot it, very good job. My bot lane based. So my bot lane is recalling, and I want to try and be on sync with them, because if I don't recall now, I will be sitting on a lot of gold for the next sequence of play. So obviously people can start, you know, a recall cycle or a recall sequence. And Coach Rogue put a really, really good video out about this, which I would encourage you to go check out. And so basically, when the enemy bot lane gets back here, this is the same concept as me, the uptime, downtime. When my bot lane gets back here, look what happens, right? The next sequence has begun, and I missed the recall time. I missed the taxi. I missed the opportunity to spend my gold. So now I'm not allowed to recall anymore, unless it's for like a really, really big item here. But as you can see here, right, we are playing uptime, and uptime is about playing on your team's tempo lines. Uptime is about pressuring when your team pressures. So when my Heimer gets ganked there, I should be thinking, take his camps, push bot, etc., etc. In this occasion, I'm just getting the bot wave, which is okay in my opinion. I think getting this wave is obviously good. If there's nothing guaranteed that we can get, you know, in his jungle, I'm not sure if they're up. This is guaranteed gold. But you see the position I'm in right now, right? I take the Gromp, my Heimer gets ganked, I have 2k gold. So we are still playing uptime here, which is good. We're still looking for enemy camps to take. We're still in our team's tempo line for when plays happen. Okay. So the reaction here is good. I just missed a base time. Now let's take a look at another base timer. Okay, at 15:30. So we go for a fight here. Okay, we're cool. We're here. We pick up a kill. Once my ult is down, I'm a little bit more hesitant to fight, but at least I'm just pinging in here. So you know, we're just doing some fighting. Fizz is still topside. Even numbers. Whenever you go for fights, by the way, always think about numbers and where people could be. If they're not showing, assume that they could be there. So we play our uptime here with our team. We play the uptime. We're in position to play the uptime. Now, okay, once again, right? And this is, again, to do with team play. Team play is very important. Recalling or doing the same thing together is extremely important. So when my bot lane bases here, again, I should actually base with them. I have 2.7k gold. And you'll see the next major mistake in this game from myself and from my team, which is doing 2 plays. Like, some of us recall, and some of us start hitting the Drake. And I also don't have smite here, so I'm completely trolling. Okay, I should be the one to say no drag. No, spend gold, wait for my smite to be up, and then we can just do it on the next uptime. So yeah, I missed this. This one is criminal. Okay, this one is way worse than the base timer that I missed before, because I have 2.7k gold. If the enemy team fights us on the next round, the next sequence, as you can see, look at my laners here. The next sequence is beginning, right? The next sequence, because 2 people based, they're just playing the next sequence, and we're still on the previous sequence. We're still on the previous round, I guess you could say, and we're doing Drake with no smite. So huge error here. again, all we need to do is just base there with our team. Tell everyone else to base. Don't do Drake without smite. Lesson learned. So now I want to base when my team is back on the map. But it's kind of okay in this situation. I have to base now, right? I have to force a base, which I am, you know, I'm basically telling my team, hey, just play safe. And people are not going to want to play safe in your games. People are going to want to pressure, which for you as a player, you need to just adapt to what's happening. My team's basing. Okay, let's just base. Oh, my team's staying. Okay, let's stay. Right? In this situation, of course, I need to just base because I have so much gold. So very important stuff. Now, I get back on the fundamentals here, right? I get back to doing good, which is Heimerdinger dies bot, but it is now uptime on the top side. And now, of course, Yone is bot, and he potentially could TP, but you see me not just farming here. And, you know, sometimes I will say when someone dies and drops pressure, it usually becomes downtime. It usually becomes a time where you should just chill. And because Yone does have TP as well, you got to be careful about doing some plays like this on the top side, because obviously they can have 5 and we only have 4, right? So yeah, you got to be a little bit careful. I think TP is something that you can play around if you're watching for it, but you just have to be careful. So what are we doing here? Okay, in this round. So in this next uptime, we are looking to protect waves. So this first thing that I'm doing here is all about protecting a wave. The reason why we want to protect these waves is because ideally in the mid game that you want waves to be pushed. What waves being pushed gives you is access to the enemy jungle. It gives you deeper vision. It gives you more map control. So you really want to think about protecting waves. And yeah, what that means is killing someone, because generally when you're ahead and when you're snowballing and when your team is ahead, this is how you basically progress the game. You protect waves, you get the objectives, you get the enemy camps. Okay, so in the uptime meaning again, we have pressure. We're pressuring different lanes. The reason why this is so great to do that, to protect waves, is because if the enemy uses resources here now to defend, maybe they send 2 people more here, our mid lane or our bot lane can take the mid lane tower. So it's all about a game of pressure. Mid game is all about pressure. It's all about syncing up with your team. It's all about looking to push your advantage by protecting waves and taking camps. So we're doing both the things here. We're protecting the wave. We're getting the tier 2 top tower, or we're hitting getting some plates or whatever, some damage. And your job here is not, by the way, your job here is not to hit this tower. A lot of the time I'll see people try and, you know, go here and hit this tower. A lot of the time I'll see people, you know, group too much on a lane. Okay. You want to be the guy that's in between. Okay. Why is it so important to be in between? Because we want to be taking the Gromp or the Wolves, and then maybe the enemy sends people to defend Lee Sin here, and then we can go to mid. Or maybe they send people mid, and then we can pivot, right, to wherever they're not defending. We want to be in the jungle, clearing vision, using our sweeper, taking camps, so we can pivot between those 2 lanes that we're playing around. Wherever they're weaker, we play. Wherever we're stronger, we play. Same kind of early game fundamentals about playing towards where you're strong, playing towards where you can take stuff. All right, so I want to recall now, okay? I want to recall now because I have an item, and because I don't think there's anything more we can take. The reason why I don't think there's anything more we can take is because they have now 4 people potentially on top side versus 4 people. And now we're not, you know, a lot about closing the game out as well is trying to not just think that you should close the game out in 20 minutes just because you're 9-1. Okay? Calm jungling, play your rounds out. You will win eventually, right? As long as you don't int. And this is a classic throw zone. Okay, so I just simply back ping my team here. Again, take into consideration the kind of ping. It's just one simple ping as I leave. I want to leave. I tell my team what I'm doing. If they want to int, so be it, right? If they want to stay here and do this, like look at this Lee Sin, so be it. I have deemed that we cannot take that tower, which we cannot, right? Because it's still very early into the game and we just can't do it. In this case, though, my team is still pressuring and no one is pressuring mid now. Okay, so this is a mistake that I made. So the team is still pressuring. The Yone is now showed bot side. So there's only, again, it is now, again, 4v4 top side, right? We're not at a disadvantage. But when your team is pressuring, it's still important that you do think about what you can take, okay? So here I realize, oh wait, my team is still pressuring here. So at least I should hit mid. I need to choose one of these 2 options. Hit mid or dive with them. So if the dive top is possible, dive top. If the dive top is not possible and they're defending with 4 people here, kill mid, break mid tower. So my bot lane moves here to top, which I think is a mistake, but I should actually just go mid. But it's also important you watch, right? So because they're all 1 HP here, right? If they were all full HP, yeah, go hit in the mid tower and get some plates in the way of mid and pressure mid, force them to defend mid. Since they're all 1 HP here, we adapt to what's happening in the game and we go here and we fight. And, you know, we pick up some kills. Was a little bit scary, not gonna lie, but Malphite didn't have ult since the previous occasion. And so that is an uptime sequence finished. So now we're doing a team-wide kind of base again. Everyone's recalling, everyone should recall. And we're syncing up bases. So that idea of the enemy are all dead, what can we take? That still applies in the mid game. So if I could take more now, let's say their blue side camps were up, like the blue and the Gromp or the blue and the Wolves. If I could take something more here, I should. But the problem is that because the conditions and because the death timers are quite low right now, by the time maybe I cross into like the bot side to try and take his bot side camps, they're all going to spawn and they're going to gate here and it's going to be a disaster. So if these were 40-second timers, all of them, 40 seconds, I would say, yeah, go push mid and break them mid tower first. Okay. But since we don't have enough tempo to do something here, except for maybe hit this tower, I probably could have hit this tower with my team, base together, right? Again, try and do things as a team, all hit the tower, all base, etc. But yeah, next sequence has now begun. My bot lane is basing a little bit out of sync, right? Because they took, so now it's actually a little bit of downtime. We should not be looking to run into the enemy bot side here. Why? Because these guys are basing. When the tempo lines are like this, right? All different. Like look at all of our tempo lines. If I draw some lines on everyone here, everyone is mismatched. Everyone is not in sync. If everyone is on this line here, it's uptime. If everyone is mismatched, it is downtime. In the downtime, we farm our camps. We're waiting for our team. We're waiting for the next sequence. This is how it should feel. Uptime pressure, downtime farm. My team dies top, I just farm my camps. My team pressures, I pressure something as well. You can see here as soon as my team gets to this, like this is like a, you know, again, it's like a train. As soon as this guy gets here, you got to get on the train, right? The train is leaving, the train is going, and now we play uptime. Boom. Look at the tempo lines. Look at everyone on the map. We want to be taking enemy camps. We want to be taking objectives. We want to be protecting waves. We want to be doing all that good stuff. We do not want to be going to the Wolves here. We do not want to be going to the Gromp here because we are not on our team's tempo line. We want to be as close to this line as possible. Now, do you need to be exactly on this line? Do you need to be on this wave? No. Once again, you want to be in between. You want to be on this here so you can react to something here. Or so you can react to something here. Or on blue here so you can react to this or so you can react to this. It's always about being in between, clearing vision, and looking for enemy camps or objectives. So in this case, I see something happening mid, and so we look for a play mid. Simply because there's something there. Same as before as top. Once again, I think in this occasion I got quite lucky, and that was a little bit risky. Lack of information. Could have died there, could have thrown there. Gonna hold myself accountable for that, for sure. And once again here, guys, I see this all the time. People hitting the tower with your team. Don't hit the tower with your team. Let them hit the tower. Maximize the entire gold of the map. Now, in Season 16, like, towers have are way tankier because of the platings, because the more people that are on the tower, the more resistances that it gains. So make sure you are maximizing your team's gold by not overloading on one thing. Don't 5-man a tower when you could 3-man it, still kill it, and get all his topside camps. So once again, I'm just sitting in between. This is what we want to do as a jungle. When we kill the enemy team, when we have pressure, when we have pushing mid, we want to take all his camps. This is how you make the enemy jungle feel really sad. This is how you make him go down 2 levels. And ultimately how you slowly, you know, winning is about slowly. I mean, obviously sometimes the game will just end in like 20 minutes, right? Sometimes that will happen. But for the most part, it's about a slow bleed. It's about slowly bleeding out the enemy, going still for like, you know, not risky plays. Like trading 1-for-1 when you're ahead is really, really bad, guys. Don't trade 1-for-1 when you're winning the game. It's super bad. It's bounties. It's XP. When you're higher level than people, they are going to get back into the game by killing you and trading 1-for-1. 1-for-1 is great when you're behind. Okay, so next round. Look, so this is what I like to call a sneaky camp, okay? My team is already playing uptime here, as you can see. So I end up basing here. Lee Sin and I end up basing here, which is okay. My team wants to keep playing uptime. I want to base for a Rod. And so I take my Wolves here, but I don't take Rod. Because look at my team's tempo line. I'm trying to catch up to this line. I'm trying to, you know, either take his camps, pressure this tower, kill the Yone here. I want to do uptime things. So I want to play uptime here. I want to protect waves. This gets a little bit, you know, just Yone things, you know, 2 items and just, you know, 1v2ing. But yeah, we're protecting waves here. Once again here, look, I'm not looking to push bot with my Lee Sin. I'm looking once again to be in between. I'm looking to take the scuttle. Now my Melio, he bases. So I'm just waiting again. We're just chilling. We're just taking a scuttle crab here. We're going to be able to end the game again, slowly. So here, it's about to be uptime. Everyone's creeping up once again to this line. Everyone's creeping up. creeping up, creeping up. Next objective. So one thing I haven't talked about in this mid game so far yet, which is just always have an objective in mind, and you can kind of close games out, you know, like like layers of an onion. Okay, tier 1's first in terms of towers, tier 2 second, tier 3's third. Okay, so just close the game out one by one. The next objective is Baron as well, so you kind of have to be a little bit careful about playing the opposite side of Baron, especially when you're the jungler. Mainly when the enemy team has, like, you know, very fast Baron kind of comps. You know, Liandry's users, you know, attack speed 80 carries, or, you know, the enemy team doesn't really have that this game, so we're kind of safe. And we're also thinking about the dragon, we're thinking about the bot tower, and again, we're taking camps in between. We're getting vision in between. We're playing uptime. And yeah, we fight here. We're really, really fed now, so we want to keep chasing. Even though the dragon is up, right? The thing is now that we kill 2 people. So you always want to also get the max win. I think the dragon in this game was not that big of a... I think this is maybe our second, maybe it's our third. So the dragon, again, for the slow bleed kind of win is good. But we want to look for the max win. And I look for the max win here. I completely mess up my Q. Oh my goodness, what was that? And I think here, this is where the game kind of ends. Okay? So if you were able to learn something from this video, guys, leave a comment down below. Leave a like. Consider dropping a sub. You know, these are the kind of videos that I do enjoy making. I do enjoy the in-depth stuff. So leave some feedback down below of how I can improve this product. And if you're interested again in working with me and you've made it to this far in the video, I salute you. You are definitely gonna go far. So yeah, and I'll see you guys all in the next vids. Peace.